So it is the day after the day they weren't messing with the sky. We can see all the mist right in the center. The little puffy cloud in the center is real. All it is defined, the edge is real. You can see the edges. And all it is fake. This is like their goal. It's like a solar shield. It's basically a sheet of clouds that they carve out, I guess with frequency somehow, and it doesn't move. That stuff is fake, doesn't move. So we could see the regular clouds, edges. This stuff is just carved out. It's a sheet that's you know, it's got carvings in it. Made to look like clouds. This way you don't suspect so much when there's some edges to it. Some fake edges. You can see it's just like Madison Star Moon says, coagulation. So they turn that mist that was in the center, they hit it with frequencies, and then you get this. You can see it's in different phases of turning into these little puffs here. Nothing natural about it. Doesn't look natural. You shouldn't get the sense that it's natural when you're looking at it. Just because it's white, it's in the sky, doesn't mean it's natural. And it doesn't move. And then you usually start seeing the lines and the ripples. That also starts telling you it's in the process of something going on. Oh, look at this. You can see a trail right in the dead center there, expanding. So that's the material they use to make this stuff here. You want to say this is all from Chemtrails? Good luck. Good luck. So, gonna have to do a video on the ridiculous chemtrails debunking study that Ken Caldera and Mick West did. Now, why would a climate scientist need to corroborate with someone that runs a debunking website, debunking UFOs and the robot walking in the cloud? Why would a degreed, educated climate scientist that tours the world, awards from Obama and the White House, have to corroborate with someone that runs a debunking website? That's for science to debunk it if they want to debunk it. So 475 scientists were asked to be in the study. Only 77 replied to the study. And they were only showed pictures. They didn't take one test, one measurement, one sample of a trail. All it was they saw pictures and based it on opinion. And every mainstream rag magazine ran with it. Oh, chemtrails are debunked. What sort of science works off of opinions? I've never heard of that. So you know it's BS right from the start. Science doesn't work on opinions. Science works on testing and measurements, which they didn't do one measurement. So if you think that's science and that made you feel better, you don't really know what science is. That's paid science. The Carnegie Foundation is where Caldera is from, and they get government grants from the government. And if they want to keep getting the government grants from the government, then you must hold the government opinion. You cannot go against the government and expect to keep getting money and grants. So it's not hard once you follow the money trail, which is, you know, basic. Start following the money trail and you get to the source of this stuff. So you already have Ken Caldera on record saying that if we did a aerosol spraying program and didn't inform the public, maybe years later, the public really wouldn't mind. They wouldn't care about it. So he's debunked himself. And he actually tweeted saying that anyone that believed it is a nutter. He used the hashtag nutters. So he said himself that you would do it behind the public's back and they really wouldn't care about it. And then he said people that believe we would do it behind their back are nutters. You see a nice square cloud in the center here. So he debunked himself. He debunked his whole study. And if you think that's information, you're not getting information from the right places. The health effects from geoengineering are about 2 pages long. They cannot sell it to the public. And they can't even sell it to half the scientists out there. So that's why they have to do it behind your back. Science has to go along with it. Otherwise, they get ostracized and they lose their job. Just like you go against climate change, you take the opposite opinion of global warming, there's people losing their jobs for that. You talk about Hillary's health, Hillary Clinton, and you say something about it, there's people losing their jobs for it. Dr. Drew lost his radio show. Gentleman from D.G. Seaman from Huffington Post lost his job for talking about it. You know, so that's why these people toe the line. It's not a mystery. It's not a mystery. Just because science may go along with it doesn't mean they want to. It means they're protecting their jobs and their livelihoods. And they figure you won't know the difference. And if you think you do, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. That's the way out. Dane Wigington had a conversation with David Keith on Twitter. And these David Keiths and Ken Calderas, you start talking about geoengineering, they put in the word chemtrails. They bring up chemtrails. They, you know, you could talk to them albedo modification, and they turn it into chemtrails because it makes them feel more secure, and they think it makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about. Granted, they should know more than most people, but for them to keep changing the conversation to chemtrails when you're talking about solar radiation management shows that it's a tactic. It's a tactic that they use. And then he brings in aliens into the conversation and you know, aliens and chemtrails. It's the most ridiculous tactics that they use. And it exposes them is what it does. It basically exposes them. So if they can't talk about their own subject, you know, they want it to be ostracized from the mainstream community. They don't want them to know that chemtrails is the same thing as solar radiation management and albedo modification. To do those activities, you need a chemical trail into your sky. So it's the same thing. Chemtrails is a slang term, but it works perfectly. And the only thing about it is the connotation that science tries to put on it. But it's the most perfect term for what goes on. It's a chemical trail. So those idiots in that stupid study need to take it, wrap it up, and stick it up their butt, because that was the biggest joke and an insult to actual scientists or people that conduct science when you do an opinion poll and then call that a finite definition of debunking something. It's the most ridiculous thing. Most ridiculous thing. It's just, it's imbecile. But there's people out there that just want to hear, we got fake thunder going on. There's people out there that just want to hear a reason for something. As long as they get a reason, they're okay, they can go back to sleep. Science said it, so they can go back to sleep, and it's just a conspiracy. So, it doesn't take much to look at this and see there's two different layers going on. There's two different sets of clouds. One set's not moving. They're being produced by airplane trails. You know, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. And then you get these same mainstream rags that run with these stories and put it out. This way they can keep their jobs rolling too. They gotta toe that mainstream opinion. So it's just sad. It's really a sad state. Keith knows what's going on. Caldera knows what's going on. Mick West knows what's going on. He's not that stupid. He plays stupid, but he, you know, he's not a stupid person. They just think they're slicker than you. So if you like being out slicked and tricked, you know, follow their opinion. Enough of this.